The anime begins with our young ugly MC, similar to myself, named Naofumi Iwatani, beginning his day with a strange dream. Upon waking, he made his way to the library with his remaining savings. There, he stumbled upon a book detailing the tales of 4 legendary heroes: the Sword Hero, Bow Hero, Spear Hero, and Shield Hero. Curiously, the book started to glow, and before he knew it, Naofumi was transported to another world. In this new realm, he discovered that 3 others had also been summoned and presented before the king for introductions. Madayasu Kitamura introduced himself as the Spear Hero, Ren Amaki as the Sword Hero, and Itsuki Kawasumi as the Bow Hero. When it was Naofumi's turn to introduce himself as the Sword Hero, the king seemingly ignored him. The king briefed them about the impending waves of calamity and their duty to protect the kingdom from these threats. Subsequently, the 4 heroes found themselves in a room where they learned that they were all from Japan but different dimensions and timelines. The following day, the king assigned various missions to each of the heroes. Adventurers were encouraged to join their respective teams, but no one volunteered to join Naofumi's squad. However, a girl named Ugly Ho, Mine stepped forward, expressing her desire to join Naofumi's team. The group then visited a weapon shop, where Naofumi discovered that he could only use a shield as his weapon. He ended up buying a dress due to this limitation. Their journey led them to confront monsters, aiming to increase their rank. Naofumi fed the remains of defeated monsters to his shield, absorbing their powers. The heroes returned to the weapon shop to purchase weapons and armor for Ho. However, a dispute arose between Naofumi and the shopkeeper over the price. They eventually made the purchase and enjoyed dinner together, followed by Naofumi retiring to his room. Upon waking, Naofumi discovered that all his possessions, including his weapons and money, had been stolen. He found himself facing royal guards who presented him before the king alongside Mine and the other heroes. Mine falsely accused Naofumi of inappropriate actions, leading to a series of denials from him. Despite his protests, nobody believed him, and the king expelled him from the castle. Frustrated and realizing he was set up, Naofumi demanded to be sent back to his world. However, he learned that they could only return together as a group of 4 heroes. Feeling betrayed by the others, Naofumi left the castle and was approached by a mysterious figure in black. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper from the weapon shop confronted Naofumi, eventually realizing his innocence. He offered Naofumi a cape and urged him to take it without immediate payment. With the cape, Naofumi embarked on a journey to defeat powerful monsters. When he attempted to sell items obtained from these battles, the shopkeeper initially offered a low price. Naofumi coerced him into a fairer deal using the threat of the monsters. In a forest, he collected medicinal plants and traded them at a medicine store for money, which he used to have dinner. Later, he encountered a man who led him to a slave trader's location, where he came across a small girl in a cage. Naofumi found himself gazing at a slave girl while the slave trader approached him, showcasing a powerful beast with a high level and a hefty price tag. Naofumi requested a less expensive slave, expressing his intention to train them for combat. The shopkeeper presented the same girl from before, named Raphtalia, who was still suffering from a persistent cough. The trader revealed that her previous master had subjected her to severe cruelty and torture. Overwhelmed by compassion, Naofumi agreed to purchase Raphtalia. As Raphtalia received a slave mark, Naofumi asked for her name, which she timidly shared. He took her under his wing and ventured to a weapon shop, purchasing a suitable weapon for her. Encountering a monstrous creature, Naofumi instructed Raphtalia to attack. To his astonishment, he realized that his own level was rising in conjunction with hers. Encouraged by this, he assigned Raphtalia to battle monsters for their mutual growth, although the shopkeeper cautioned him not to be harsh on the young girl. After their encounter, Naofumi and Raphtalia continued their journey. Raphtalia, being a demi-human, was fearful of the behavior of people towards her kind. Naofumi sensed her hunger, and despite her initial refusal, he took her to a restaurant, ignoring the demi-human entry prohibited sign. They ordered their meals, and Raphtalia relished her food, her smile reflecting her enjoyment. Engaging in more monster battles to accumulate points, Naofumi marveled at his newly acquired skills. Raphtalia took the opportunity to inquire about his name, to which he revealed himself as the shield hero of the legendary quartet. This jogged Raphtalia's memory of the heroes her parents had spoken of, particularly the kind nature of the shield hero towards demi-humans. However, her coughing fit interrupted the conversation, and Naofumi offered her medicine to ease her discomfort. In Raphtalia's dreams, the tragic memory of her parents sacrificing themselves to protect her from a monster resurfaced, causing her to awaken in distress. Naofumi's reassurances helped calm her. On the subsequent day, Naofumi continued his routine of selling medicinal herbs to a medical store. Observing children at play, he asked Raphtalia if she desired to join them, but she rejected the notion, asserting her maturity. Attempting to provide Raphtalia with some enjoyment, Naofumi bought her a ball for play during their leisure time. Their interactions grew more endearing as he booked them a hotel, took her on a city tour, treated her to street food, and even styled her hair. Their strengthened bond reflected in their monster battles, where Raphtalia's strength became more evident. Confronting a formidable rabbit-like monster, Naofumi urged Raphtalia to defeat it. Although initially apprehensive, she overcame her fear and triumphed. At a weapons store, he upgraded her weapon. Venturing into a village to sell monster parts, they learned of a valuable crystal within a cave. Monsters had taken over the cave due to the waves, discouraging adventurers. The shopkeeper shared that obtaining and selling the crystal would yield substantial rewards. Exploring the cave, they encountered a monstrous creature that triggered Raphtalia's past trauma of losing her parents. She hesitated, her fear intensifying. Determined to protect her, Naofumi engaged the monster using his shield. Despite her hesitation, Raphtalia attacked, and together they managed to defeat the creature. Overwhelmed with emotion, Raphtalia clung to Naofumi and he comforted her, promising that she would attack while he defended, ensuring their survival. As Naofumi was in the process of adding a new skill to his shield, a sudden monster attack interrupted his concentration. Reacting swiftly, he utilized his shield's power to repel the attack, allowing Raphtalia to swiftly finish off the assailant. Naofumi was acutely aware of an impending wave and the necessity of acquiring adequate equipment to prepare for it. Remarkably, Raphtalia had matured considerably, and they visited the weapons shop to procure weapons for her. The shopkeeper was astounded by Raphtalia's rapid growth and offered her a generous discount on her chosen weapon. Realizing the importance of protecting himself as well, Raphtalia encouraged Naofumi to obtain armor to prevent further injuries. After browsing through available options, the shopkeeper suggested customizing an armor specifically for Naofumi, a proposition Raphtalia fervently supported. Dining together, Naofumi insisted that Raphtalia didn't need to compromise her choices based on his budget constraints. Subsequently, Naofumi's customized armor was ready, but his concerns about the upcoming wave were evident. He believed that if he knew the timing and location of the wave's arrival, he could proactively defend against it. The shopkeeper disclosed the existence of a clock within a nearby church that provided information about the wave's location. Naofumi headed to the church, where he encountered the other heroes, though he remained reticent about his connection with them. Raphtalia, curious about his behavior, questioned him, but Naofumi avoided elaboration and left. The heroes gathered in anticipation of the wave's arrival, and when it finally came, swarms of monsters emerged. Naofumi noticed a distress signal coming from a village and rushed there with Raphtalia. He instructed her to lead the villagers to safety while he single-handedly confronted the monsters. However, as the battle progressed, fatigue began to take its toll on him. Observing monsters attacking the villagers, Naofumi devised a plan to distract them by ringing a tower's bell. The monsters converged on the tower, which Naofumi then set ablaze, sacrificing it to incapacitate the monsters. When a villager was attacked by a massive monster, Naofumi intervened and sustained injuries in the process. The villagers rallied to his aid, joined by Raphtalia, and together they managed to overcome the beast. As Raphtalia and Naofumi stood their ground against the onslaught, fireballs rained down on the village. Naofumi shielded Raphtalia, saving her from harm. Infuriated, Raphtalia sought to retaliate against the knights responsible for the attack, but Naofumi stopped her. The situation escalated when the monster targeted the knight leader, and in a coordinated effort with Raphtalia, they vanquished the creature. The leader of the knights ordered them to leave the village defense to the shield hero and assist the other heroes. A group of knights chose to stand with Naofumi, offering their aid. The battle intensified, with the heroes collectively combating a powerful adversary. In the end, Naofumi defended an entire village single-handedly during the wave's climax. As the wave concluded, many villagers were injured, and they expressed their gratitude to Naofumi for his valiant efforts. Amidst a lively party within the king's castle, where laughter and merriment echoed, Naofumi sat alone in a corner, separated from the jovial atmosphere. However, Raphtalia made her way towards him, intending to offer him some company. The spear hero attempted to halt her progress, but Mine intervened, whispering something that deterred him. With determination, Raphtalia approached Naofumi, proposing that he should eat something. Yet, he declined her kind gesture, lost in contemplation about their recent wave encounter. Returning with a tray of food, Raphtalia persisted in her efforts to uplift his spirits. A dispute ensued when the spear hero challenged Naofumi for Raphtalia's company. Ignoring the provocation, Naofumi intended to leave, but the guards intervened, preventing his departure. The king, observing the unfolding drama, demanded a confrontation between the two heroes. Despite Raphtalia's efforts to express her loyalty to Naofumi, a guard silenced her. Frustration grew, compelling Naofumi to reluctantly accept the challenge. The battlefield stretched across a grand stadium, the king and a multitude of spectators eagerly awaiting the clash. The skirmish began, and the spear hero launched his attack. But Naofumi countered with his shield's formidable defense. The tide of battle shifted, with Naofumi gaining the upper hand, relentlessly assaulting the spear hero and ensnaring him in a shield prison. Amidst the astonished crowd, it became evident that the shield hero was dominating the spear hero. Victory seemed within grasp as Naofumi prepared to deliver a finishing blow. However, Mind's treacherous intervention shattered his concentration, causing him to stumble. The spear hero capitalized on the opportunity, mounting a counterattack that overwhelmed Naofumi. Though he valiantly struggled to rise, defeat was inevitable. Standing once more, Naofumi cried foul, accusing Mind of employing magic to interfere. His protestation fell on deaf ears, revealing that a pervasive conspiracy was at play. Understanding that he had been set up, Naofumi felt the weight of betrayal from those he should have been able to trust. Smoke emanated from his shield, revealing an illusory vision where Raphtalia's slave Mark was gone, leaving her vanished. The revelation of this cursed illusion struck him with anguish. Raphtalia emerged and slapped him, her voice rising above the crowd as she recounted his genuine care, kindness, and sacrifices for her well-being. The spear hero continued his attempts to manipulate her, but she steadfastly denounced his claims, divulging Mind's manipulations and deceit. Mind's anger escalated, prompting an attack on Raphtalia, which was thwarted by the timely intervention of the other two heroes, who exposed Mind's trickery. Raphtalia approached Naofumi, seeking solace, yet he harshly rebuffed her due to the lingering effects of the illusion. The illusion began to unravel, and Naofumi witnessed Raphtalia's transformation into an adult. Overwhelmed by emotions, he wept and eventually drifted into slumber. As the crowd began to disperse, the spear hero persisted in his efforts to sow doubt among the other heroes regarding Naofumi's intentions. However, their perception of the bond between Naofumi and Raphtalia defied his insinuations. The following day, Naofumi and Raphtalia shared a meal of delicious sandwiches, engaging in conversation that showcased the growth of their connection. The narrative reveals a clandestine figure engaged in conversation with the queen. The queen instructs this individual to keep a watchful eye on the four heroes and provide assistance when needed. Meanwhile, back at the castle, the king holds an award ceremony to honor the heroes for their efforts in combating the waves. While the other three heroes are lavishly rewarded, the shield hero, Naofumi, receives a mere 500 silvers due to his defeat against the spear hero. However, the sword and bow heroes argue that Naofumi was winning until cheating intervened. This prompts the king to adjust the shield hero's reward, raising it to a more fitting level. Naofumi accepts his reward and departs. The heroes return to the slave trader and procure a new slave Mark for Raphtalia, their trusted companion. At the same venue, Naofumi's interest is piqued by some eggs, prompting him to inquire about them. The trader enlightens him about phylloleal bird eggs used for pulling carts, and Naofumi purchases one. Continuing their exploration, they visit a medical shop where Naofumi discovers an intriguing book. Seeking magical knowledge, they consult a magician and learn a new spell. The scene shifts to a forest where Naofumi is engrossed in reading the book, eventually deciding to spend the night in a nearby village. Come morning, Naofumi rouses Raphtalia, only to find the egg has hatched, revealing a young phylloleal bird. They feed the fledgling and proceed to engage monsters in combat. The subsequent day brings shopping and the astonishing realization that Philo has grown considerably larger. Philo's rapid growth allows Naofumi to ride on her back as she speeds away. They christen the bird Philo. However, turmoil unfolds as Princess Mine imposes a toll on the villagers, met with resistance as they rally behind the shield hero. The Queen's Shadow Knights intervene, delivering a scroll that incites the princess's fury. She challenges Naofumi to a race against the spear hero, and the villagers encourage him to accept, promising a reward if he wins. The race begins, with Naofumi initially leading the way. Yet, through magical intervention, the spear hero takes the lead. Philo's determination propels them forward, but more magical obstacles hinder their progress. Despite the adversities, they manage to secure victory. The princess accuses Naofumi of cheating, but the Shadow Knights testify to his honest triumph. The frustrated spear hero confronts Naofumi, who dismisses his accusations. Naofumi converses with the villagers, and the princess, vexed, tries to tarnish his victory, only to be silenced by the Shadow Knight's revelation of her manipulations. The events conclude with the shield hero requesting his reward from the villagers, who are currently financially challenged. He declines their offer, and the villagers gift him a card as a gesture of gratitude. Philo's elation at receiving the card is evident as they embark on their journey, retreating to a forest for the night. The story then shifts to a scene where Raphtalia awakens Naofumi, leading to a startling discovery: a young girl sleeping beside them. As she greets Naofumi as master, the narrative continues, unveiling new developments in their enthralling tale. Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo proceeded to a weapon shop with the intention of purchasing new weapons. Philo's appetite caught the attention of the shopkeeper, leading to her devouring his food after a brief transformation. Despite the mishap, Naofumi and Raphtalia apologized and moved on to the slave trader to acquire a slave mark for Philo. Their next stop was a tailor's shop, where they aimed to create clothes for Philo to address the issue of torn attire when she transformed. However, the tailor had run out of the magical thread necessary for the task. Seeking a solution, they consulted a magician who informed them that a crystal was required to produce the magical thread. Their search for the crystal brought them across a man in a rush, to whom they offered a lift for a silver coin. Arriving in his village, he urgently retrieved medicine for his ailing mother. Naofumi examined the medicine and, upon administering it, witnessed the rapid recovery of the woman. Grateful, the man rewarded Naofumi with another silver coin. Continuing their quest for funds, Naofumi engaged in selling items and treating the sick to earn money. A mission to safeguard an individual while traveling led them to encounter mountain bandits, whom they easily dispatched. The person they were guarding revealed himself to be a gems trader, sharing insights on gem making with Naofumi. He introduced Naofumi to others who shared tales of the feats of the other heroes, none of which Naofumi was aware of. Upon departing, the trader requested that Naofumi deliver a letter. After delivering the message, Naofumi, Raphtalia, Philo, and the magician ventured into a cave in search of magical crystals. Cautioned about potential monsters, they stumbled upon a room filled with crystals guarded by a creature. With combined efforts, they triumphed over the monster, albeit with Raphtalia sustaining minor injuries. Naofumi tended to her wounds and absorbed the power of the bats in his shield to unlock a new skill. Navigating through an illusionary bat-infested area, the magician dispelled the illusion, allowing them to proceed. In a chamber filled with crystals, they confronted another monster, ultimately emerging victorious. With a crystal in hand, they produced magical thread for the tailor, who fashioned a stunning dress for Philo. Ecstatic about her new appearance, Philo sought Naofumi's opinion and received his praise, leading to an affectionate hug. As they concluded their visit, Raphtalia felt a tinge of jealousy, and they expressed gratitude to the shopkeeper before departing. Naofumi found himself examining a potion gifted by the gem trader, contemplating its potential uses. Philo's keen senses led them to a village enshrouded in roots, prompting Naofumi to hasten their arrival. Upon conversing with the villagers, they learned about the village's predicament of being overtaken by roots. The sound of approaching adventurers caught their attention, and Philo was sent to investigate. Philo successfully rescued the adventurers and informed Naofumi about a monster employing acid and poison. Given the villagers' plight and numerous illnesses, Naofumi took action, distributing the potion he possessed among the afflicted. Gratitude flowed from the villagers for their recovery. It came to light that they had sought help from the spear hero, who offered them miracle seeds that inadvertently caused their current plight. Naofumi was rewarded by the villagers, and he set out to confront the root monster. Amidst the battle, Raphtalia and Philo faced challenges, yet Naofumi's strategic use of the potion and his shield proved pivotal in defeating the creature. Despite victory, cursed seeds remained, compelling Naofumi to harness his newfound ability to modify plants and create safe seeds. The villagers expressed their gratitude once more before the group retired for the night. Morning saw Naofumi experimenting with his new skill, cultivating fruits. While Raphtalia was apprehensive, Philo's enthusiasm led her to taste the fruit, expressing delight in its flavor. Sharing a sample with the villagers, they embarked with their cart laden with produce. The safe seeds and fruits were then sold to an accessory seller, and the gem trader assigned them another mission to deliver goods to a town, which they accomplished successfully. Naofumi proposed spending the remainder of the day at a hot spring, eliciting joy from Philo and Raphtalia. Raphtalia, however, couldn't shake her jealousy over Philo's growing attachment to Naofumi. In the midst of her contemplation, she overheard girls discussing Latium in the hot spring, sparking an idea to find it as a gift for Naofumi. Her journey to find the crystal led her to an unexpected encounter with Philo, and their conversation revolved around the shared intention to present Naofumi with a meaningful gift. Driven by their shared goal, Raphtalia embarked on a search for Latium crystals while Philo sought a special egg linked to the Gagako bird. The girls' endeavors were momentarily thwarted by the silver razorback, but they eventually managed to exact revenge and defeat the creature. Through the sale of the razorback, they acquired funds to purchase a joint gift, a testament to their camaraderie aimed at aiding Naofumi in his metalwork pursuits. As the night enveloped them, Naofumi quietly engaged in crafting a gift for both Philo and Raphtalia while they slumbered. Checking the size of the gift, he was interrupted by Philo's awakening. Swiftly concealing the present, he nonchalantly explained that he was merely keeping watch over them. Their travels led them to an encounter with an elderly man who disclosed the dire state of his village. Concerned, Naofumi and his companions headed to the village, only to be halted by a man. Presenting himself as a medicine vendor, Naofumi engaged in a conversation with the village's doctor, who described the village's ailing condition. With the doctor's guidance, Naofumi ventured into the village to treat the sick. However, the meager sum of silvers he received for his efforts left him discontent. Learning about the presence of a dragon in the vicinity, Naofumi sensed an opportunity for a new mission and instructed Raphtalia to prepare. Despite the doctor's warning about the danger, Naofumi resolved to intervene. Demanding 500 silvers for the task, he set out for the dragon's location with Raphtalia and Philo in tow. The journey led them to confront various monsters, with Naofumi enhancing Philo's speed to forge ahead. Upon reaching the dragon's remains, Raphtalia began to feel unwell. Despite her condition, she insisted on pressing forward. Unexpectedly, the supposedly defeated dragon stirred to life. Philo engaged the dragon, leaving Naofumi and Raphtalia astounded. Naofumi shielded them from the dragon's poison, with Philo ultimately being swallowed. Overwhelmed by despair, Naofumi's emotions triggered the unlocking of a new skill, resulting in a dramatic transformation. His newfound power allowed him to face the dragon with unmatched strength. His anger stemming from his traumatic past, Naofumi engaged the dragon fiercely, employing a new fire-imbued shield to sever its tail. During the battle, he was reminded of Raphtalia's presence and regained his composure. The battle culminated in Philo's surprising emergence from the dragon's innards, leaving Raphtalia and Philo equally astonished. Philo disclosed that she had defeated the dragon from within and consumed its crystal. They returned to the village, where the doctor was prepared to reward them. Naofumi declined the reward, urging the doctor to attend to Raphtalia's wounds. The doctor reassured Naofumi that he had administered holy water, and that Raphtalia's injuries would heal. Upon entering Raphtalia's room, Naofumi expressed his remorse for her injuries. Philo presented a crystal she had retrieved from the dragon, which Naofumi used to unlock a new shield skill. Reflecting on his shield's potential to endanger their lives, Naofumi was reassured by Raphtalia and Philo, who held his hands. Naofumi spoke optimistically about their journey toward greater strength and shared a rare smile. Surprised by his demeanor, Raphtalia requested his presence for the night, to which he assigned Philo, leaving for his own quarters. Gazing at the night sky, Naofumi contemplated the necessity of becoming even stronger. After a victorious battle against a group of monsters, the group was making their way out of the forest. Still preoccupied by Raphtalia's injuries, Naofumi decided to head to the capital the following day to obtain holy water for her. Their path led them to encounter a small girl, who was astonished by Philo's size and ability to speak. The girl's fascination with Philo led to a playful interaction between them. Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo discussed the girl's likely noble background as they continued their journey. Philo's request to play with the girl was granted by Naofumi, with a stipulation to return by evening. Back in the village, Naofumi continued to assist the villagers with their ailments, and their gratitude was apparent. Amid changing Raphtalia's bandages, Philo and the noble girl, named Melty, entered the scene. Melty explained her separation from her guards while searching for philolial birds. Persuaded by Raphtalia and Philo, Naofumi agreed to let Melty accompany them. The next day, the group set out, with Philo effortlessly dispatching monsters along the way, making the journey an enjoyable one. They camped in the forest for the night. In the middle of the night, Raphtalia awoke to find Melty missing. A sense of unease settled in until they realized that Melty was resting inside Philo's fur. Their relief was palpable. As they reached the capital, Philo expressed her desire to escort Melty to her home, and Naofumi acquiesced. Naofumi's primary goal in the capital was to obtain holy water, which he intended to use for Raphtalia's healing. Visiting the church, he encountered a false holy water scam, only to eventually receive the real thing. On their way out, a knight tried to halt their departure. Naofumi, sensing trouble, instructed Raphthalia to search for Philo while he distracted the knight. After evading the knight's pursuit, Naofumi was confronted by the spear hero, who launched an attack. Dodging the strike, Naofumi managed to fend off the aggression. Their altercation attracted the attention of the city guards, leading to a tense standoff. However, Melty's arrival altered the situation. Melty's royal status commanded respect, and her intervention halted the impending duel. She exposed her elder sister Mine's manipulative actions, eliciting fear from her. Melty diffused the tension, acknowledging her intent to become the next queen due to her sister's unstable state of mind. She disclosed her prior ignorance of Naofumi's identity as the shield hero. Offering Naofumi an opportunity, Melty's proposal was met with skepticism. Dismissing her offer, Naofumi's deep-seated lack of trust remained evident as he pushed her away. Naofumi sternly urged Melty to leave as the guard arrived to announce the king's summons for her. Departing, Melty couldn't help but recall her mother's admonition to rectify the injustices the shield hero was facing in the kingdom. Back at the weapon shop, tension hung in the air as Philo expressed her resentment toward Naofumi for his treatment of Melty. Naofumi attempted to justify his actions, advising Philo to distance herself from Melty. Heartbroken, Philo's tears prompted her to leave the shop. Naofumi's mind swirled with reflections on how the king and his people had treated him, reinforcing his lingering trust issues. Soon, Philo returned with an unexpected visitor, the guard who had pursued him previously. This guard had come with a proposition. He and a party wished to join Naofumi to fight in the waves, their decision spurred by Naofumi's valor in saving Loot Village. Naofumi, however, required a demonstration of their commitment, demanding 150 silver coins to prove their loyalty. Using the acquired funds, Naofumi upgraded his armor and contemplated enhancing Raphthalia and Philo's capabilities. The shopkeeper recommended class upgrades, prompting Naofumi to discuss his intentions with Raphthalia. Recognizing the finite duration of their collaboration due to his return after the waves, Naofumi voiced his desire for her self-sufficiency once they part ways. As they prepared for class upgrades at the church, the cost of 15 gold coins posed a significant hurdle. Unfortunately, a royal decree was issued forbidding the Shield Heroes party from pursuing class upgrades. Disheartened, they sought alternatives, approaching the slave trader for guidance.
そこまで行くのにどれくらいかかるんだ?
船ならば2週間
Following his advice, Naofumi planned a journey to Shieldfrieden for the coveted class upgrades. Naofumi then engaged in weapon testing for Philo, acquiring new weapons for her. Returning to their lodgings, Naofumi's attention turned to Raphthalia as he tended to her bandages. Their conversation drifted toward his eventual return home after the waves, a prospect that saddened her. The next day, while scouting towns, Naofumi encountered refugees suffering from famine, which had been caused by an adventurer using a bow. Naofumi recognized this as the work of Itsuki, one of the other heroes. As the next wave approached, Ren and Itsuki confronted Naofumi, accusing him of stealing their rewards. Naofumi elucidated the flaws in Itsuki's revolution and Ren's actions, leading to a plague. Although Ren believed Naofumi due to Raphtalia's wounds, Itsuki remained skeptical. Leaving the confrontation behind, Naofumi received an upgraded armor from Erhard and accepted the Loot Party's pledge of loyalty. However, a shadowy knight reported Melty's failure to win Naofumi's trust to the queen.
和解には時間がかかるでしょう。メルティには酷かもしれませんが。
Who remained intent on accomplishing this task. The impending wave approached, with an enigmatic figure positioned at its threshold. The gathered forces braced themselves, anticipation mounting as they awaited the commencement of the impending wave. In a poignant gesture, Naofumi presented Raphthalia and Philo with protective gifts before their engagement. Naofumi, alongside the Loot Party led by isekai'd, stood united, ready to face the challenge. Suddenly, they found themselves transported to the wave's battleground, where chaos reigned. isekai'd's units swiftly moved to safeguard the civilian populace, while Naofumi's party focused on eliminating the encroaching monster horde. Amid the fray, Naofumi noticed an elderly woman amongst the combatants, employing her seasoned skills to dispatch monsters effortlessly. Revealing herself to be a retired adventurer, she caught Naofumi's attention. In the heat of battle, a member from the loot party approached Naofumi, instructing him to lend aid to the other heroes who were grappling with the situation elsewhere. Naofumi, trusting isekai'd's team to safeguard the civilians, ventured toward the conflict's epicenter. There, he discovered the sword and spear heroes, seemingly battling each other rather than the common enemy. Naofumi sternly admonished their behavior, reminding them of the gravity of the situation. Nevertheless, their mutual enmity persisted, much to Naofumi's exasperation. Resuming the role of mediator, Naofumi implored Raphtalia to employ her lightning magic, which revealed an ominous anomaly within the monster's shadows. Even the sword and spear heroes adhered to Naofumi's strategy. The monsters amalgamated into a colossal aberration, evoking a united offensive from the bow, sword, and spear heroes. However, their combined efforts proved futile against the monstrous amalgamation. It was then that Naofumi discerned an opportunity, instructing Philo to unleash her wind magic. When this too yielded no effect, the impending danger was palpable. The monstrous entity launched a devastating assault, incapacitating the heroes. Unyielding, Naofumi protected Raphtalia and Philo with his shield, absorbing the brunt of the attack. Comprehending the need for a drastic countermeasure, Naofumi resolved to employ his cursed shield. However, upon activating it, Naofumi was confronted by the furious spirit of the zombie dragon, vying for control. This internal struggle propelled Naofumi into a frenzied transformation, channeling the dragon's power against the monstrous foe. Fueled by an innate mission and memories of Raphtalia's past predicament, Naofumi harnessed his newfound abilities, Shield Prison, Chain Shield, and an unprecedented, devastating attack. This combined assault led to the monster's eventual defeat. The other heroes looked on, baffled by Naofumi's unexpected display of power. However, the triumph was short-lived, as a new threat emerged from within the defeated monster's lair. Abruptly, an entity descended from the skies, obliterating the emerging threat. This new arrival identified herself as Glass, denouncing the heroes and their collective efforts as inadequate. To the astonishment of the other heroes, Glass hailed Naofumi as the only one truly deserving of the title hero, and introduced herself as their adversary. With determination in their hearts, all heroes excluding the shield hero launched an assault against Glass. However, their combined efforts proved futile, as Glass effortlessly repelled the attacks of the other three hero parties. Setting her sights on Naofumi's group, she issued a challenge. Despite Naofumi's attempt to immobilize her with the shield prison attack, Glass managed to break free with ease. Against the combined might of Naofumi's array of shields and the support of Raphtalia and Philo, the heroes found themselves unable to even land a single blow. Naofumi resorted to even unleashing the power of his cursed shield and employing his strongest attack, but Glass demonstrated her superiority by shattering through his defenses. As Glass prepared to unleash a deadly attack, Naofumi devised a strategy, prompting Raphtalia to employ her lightning magic. Seizing the opportunity, they retreated from the battle, evading the impending danger of Glass's assault. While Glass attempted long-range attacks, the encounter ended as the time limit for the waves expired, prompting her withdrawal. Following the intense battle, Naofumi's group sought refuge in a village, reflecting on the perilous encounter they narrowly escaped. Their respite was short-lived, as knights arrived, summoning Naofumi back to the castle. Altcray, the king, had observed the events unfold through a magical viewing device, demanding Naofumi disclose the secret behind his newfound powers. Naofumi, unyielding, demanded Altcray kneel and beg for his assistance. Their confrontation escalated, leading to a standoff between Naofumi and the guards. Naofumi's daring threats and fearless demeanor left the king furious, yet he backed down, emphasizing the potential consequences of any harm befalling Naofumi's companions. As Naofumi departed, a woman approached him, warning him of the church's conspiracy against him. Meanwhile, Melty endeavored to bridge the divide between Naofumi and her father. However, her efforts were interrupted by mine, resulting in a heated exchange. Later, Naofumi found solace in a weapon shop where he conversed with Erhard. Their discussion veered towards the topic of class upgrades, and Erhard suggested that they venture to a demi-human country for this purpose. Equipped with supplies and Erhard's provisions, Naofumi's group embarked on a journey to Shieldfrieden for Raphtalia and Philo's class ups. Along the way, they discovered that Erhard had left them a letter detailing the equipment he had placed in their cart, further bolstering their spirits. Amid their travels, they encountered Melty once again, who implored Naofumi to reconcile with her father. However, Naofumi remained steadfast in his resolve, rejecting her plea. Sensing a looming danger, Naofumi shielded Melty when one of her bodyguards attempted to assassinate her, leading to a dramatic turn of events. Observing Naofumi's swift protection of Melty from the assassination attempt, the attacking knights falsely accuse him of holding Melty hostage. In response, the furious Naofumi instructs Raphtalia and Philo to retaliate, resulting in a skirmish in which they overpower the knights. Naofumi seizes a pendant from one of the Church of the Three Heroes Guards, an organization that harbors resentment against the shield hero. Inside the royal palace, a group of wizards manipulates the recorded footage of Naofumi's actions, distorting it to depict him and his group as malevolent individuals kidnapping Melty. This edited recording is then presented to the entire kingdom, tarnishing Naofumi's reputation. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Raphtalia updates Naofumi on the dangers they face, advising against entering the kingdom for the time being. While Naofumi suspects King Altcray's involvement, Melty asserts that it's the work of mine. Despite her plea to approach the king and resolve matters, Naofumi remains reluctant. Determined to escape the turmoil, Naofumi decides to depart and encourages Melty to join them. She agrees, and they set out on their journey. During their travel, Melty inquires about Naofumi's conflict with the king. However, he remains evasive, prompting her to share a revelation about the royal family's dynamics. According to Melty, the true leader of the capital is the queen, while Altcray ascended to the throne after marrying her. This insight prompts Naofumi to jest about the king. Suddenly, Naofumi senses a presence and urges the group to continue moving as knights close in on them. In the process, Melty stumbles on a loose rock, but Naofumi swiftly rescues her. Their commotion attracts nearby guards as well as the other three heroes who surround them. Despite Melty's efforts to explain that she's unharmed and there has been a misunderstanding, Mind dismisses her claims and accuses Naofumi of using a brainwashing shield. Her unfounded accusations lead the other heroes to believe her, and their collective hostility intensifies. Recognizing the dire situation, Melty implores Naofumi for help, knowing her life is at risk. In a desperate attempt to escape with Melty, Naofumi's party is halted when Madoyasu employs magic to immobilize Philo. Amid the chaos, Madoyasu catches Philo and Mine attacks Melty, only to be thwarted by Naofumi's swift intervention. As the other heroes express concern for Melty's well-being, Mine disregards their pleas, attributing Melty's actions to the influence of the Devil's Shield. Driven to action, Naofumi activates his Rage Shield, dispatching the knights with the intention to protect Melty. Simultaneously, Raphtalia and Philo engage Mine and Spear Hero, exhibiting remarkable prowess. Doubts start to emerge among the other heroes as Mine's recklessness becomes evident, endangering Melty's life without consideration. In a pivotal move, Naofumi hands the pendant from the church to Ren, expressing his trust in him and his intention for an investigation. With the situation under control, Naofumi departs with Melty, soon encountering a knight dispatched by Queen Myrlia. This emissary assists in removing Philo's shackle, expressing Myrlia's wish to meet Naofumi. As Naofumi and Melty converse, their dialogue is interrupted by Raphtalia, who notices a fire ignited in the forest by Mine, suggesting that the turmoil is far from over. The scenario unfolds with Mine's deliberate forest fire compelling Naofumi's group to flee from the oncoming danger of her pursuing knights. The subsequent morning, Naofumi undertakes a discreet food procurement task while cautiously evading the knights' pursuit. The closed border to Siltveld, enforced by a royal decree, compels Naofumi to a seemingly inevitable meeting with Queen Myrlia. Amid their journey, they encounter a village where Melty introduces them to the village leader, a well-regarded man. Raphtalia, however, remains somber as the memory of her village's destruction by the knights during the first wave haunts her. In response, Melty assures her that those responsible will face retribution. Naofumi's group crosses paths with nobleman Van Reichnot, who holds authority over the village and is acquainted with Melty. Welcoming them to his residence, Reichnot inquires about the forest fire, prompting Naofumi to attribute it to Princess Mine. Learning of their plight, Reichnot extends an invitation for them to stay the night. Despite Naofumi's skepticism, Raphtalia encourages him to find solace and trust in their host. Back in the capital, the king issues orders to his knights to retrieve Melty. During the night, Naofumi awakens to find Melty by the window. Encouraging her to rest, he also tends to Raphtalia, who experiences distressing nightmares. In a moment of unrest, Reichnot is apprehended by the knights. The maid aids Naofumi and Raphtalia's escape by hiding them in the kitchen while Melty distracts the knights. Nobleman Idle Rabier, the leader of the knights, arrives and escorts Melty to his estate. Observing Raphtalia's unease in Rabier's presence, Naofumi consoles her, understanding the necessity of Melty's plan. With Rabier's departure, Naofumi locates Philo and details the situation to her. She is resolute in rescuing Melty, and they set forth for Rabier's estate. The demi-humans loyal to Reichnot, who have gathered around the castle gates, inadvertently provide cover for Naofumi to infiltrate the castle. This tactical advantage allows them to enter the castle and save Melty and Reichnot from Rabier's clutches. Explaining his intervention to Melty, Naofumi emphasizes that as a hero, it's his duty to aid those in distress. While navigating the estate, Raphtalia encounters a space that triggers painful memories of her time as a slave. Despite this emotional response, her primary concern remains rescuing Melty. As the rescue unfolds, Rabier readies to harm Melty, only to be interrupted by the timely entry of Raphtalia, Philo, and Naofumi. They manage to thwart Rabier's intentions and liberate Melty and Reichnot. Melty inquires about their motivation, prompting Naofumi to reiterate his role as a hero dedicated to helping those in need. In a confrontation, Raphtalia faces Rabier, who pleads for mercy in the face of his imminent defeat.
わしがお前たちを飼わなかったらのたれ死ぬしかなかったのだ。
In a poignant flashback, we witness Raphtalia and her dear friend Rifana enjoying their youthful moments, only to be disrupted by the onset of the first wave. This catastrophic event leads to the destruction of Raphtalia's village, with the villagers being enslaved by the Melremark troops. Amid this turmoil, Raphtalia and Rifana are ensnared by idle Rabier, their lives becoming ensnared in a web of misery and servitude. Tragically, Rifana succumbs to illness, breaking Raphtalia's spirit further. Ultimately, Rabier's actions result in Raphtalia's sale to Belauca's, setting her on a path that will eventually intertwine with Naofumi's. Returning to the present, Raphtalia stands on the brink of striking down Rabier, but Naofumi's counsel reminds her of her personal growth and transformation. Recognizing that revenge will not heal her wounds, Raphtalia refrains from killing him. However, Rabier's wounded pride fuels a violent confrontation, only for Raphtalia to deploy her mana sword, wounding him in defense. Rabier plummets out of a window, his fate sealed. Confronting the aftermath, Raphtalia conveys her apologies to Naofumi, but he reassures her that she bears no fault. The focus shifts to their assistance of Reichnot, who suggests that they take this opportunity to depart. Naofumi concurs, but not before they fulfill a significant task. Raphtalia leads them to an underground prison, a place of torment where demihumans were subjected to Rabier's cruelty. The stench and conditions are deplorable, evoking a mix of disgust and empathy from the group. Amid this grim atmosphere, they discover survivors, including Raphtalia's childhood friend Keel. Overwhelmed by disbelief and shock, Keel eventually accepts Raphtalia's identity and learns of Naofumi's role as the shield hero. Witnessing Naofumi's healing abilities further astonishes him. The group's encounter with Keel triggers Raphtalia's memories of their shared past, filled with promises and determination to rebuild their shattered lives. Meanwhile, in the present, they encounter Rifana's remains in a cell, causing Raphtalia to break into tears, her guilt resurfacing. Naofumi intervenes, revealing his newfound trust in her and the impact she's had on his life. An illusion of Rifana appears, comforting Raphtalia and encouraging her to fulfill their promise. Exiting the prison, they stumble upon Rabier's lingering presence in the courtyard. To their shock, Rabier unleashes a formidable ancient dragon-like creature, bringing it to life from its sealed imprisonment. The creature's intent is now directed towards Naofumi, introducing a new perilous threat to their already tumultuous journey. As Naofumi's party faces off against the menacing Rex dragon unleashed by Rabier, the scene transitions to a girl engaged in conversation regarding the impending selection of the next Philorial queen. The intensity escalates as Naofumi and his companions flee from the rampaging monster. The incredulousness of Rabier's audacious ploy to unleash a monster to eliminate Naofumi is echoed by Melty, who struggles to comprehend the sinister act. The colossal dragon soon locates them, prompting Philo to initiate an attack. However, Melty intervenes, cautioning them against reckless combat near the town due to the risk to its inhabitants. Forced to strategize, they consider methods to draw the dragon away from the town. A revelation unfolds as Melty observes a shared luminescence between Philo and the beast, indicating that the dragon's target is not Naofumi, but rather Philo herself. A plan is hatched to lure the creature to a nearby expansive lake. The confrontation commences, with Naofumi, Philo, Raphtalia, and Melty coordinating their strikes. Despite their concerted efforts, their attacks prove futile against the formidable dragon. Faced with dwindling options, Naofumi contemplates employing his rage shield. However, an inner voice urges him to reconsider, dissuading him from unleashing its power. Suddenly, a multitude of philorial birds descend upon the scene, encircling the dragon. Emerging from the depths of the lake, the majestic philolial queen known as Fitoria makes her grand appearance. Her intervention proves decisive as she swiftly defeats the monstrous creature. Fitoria then assumes a human form and introduces herself. The group is led by her to an ancient ruin far from the conflict-ridden scene. Once there, Fitoria invites Naofumi for a private conversation. She discloses her quest to find the next philorial queen and expresses her desire to converse in a safer environment. Despite her warning, Naofumi's curiosity gets the best of him, leading him to scan the defeated monster and gain a new skill in the process. Escorted by Fitoria aboard a philolial cart, they journey to the distant ruins. In this secluded setting, Fitoria delves into deeper matters. She elucidates the link between Philo's growth and Naofumi's guidance, sharing that a hero's nurturing has contributed to her development. Naofumi reciprocates by recounting his journey and trials. Fitoria, disheartened by the feuding among the heroes, discloses the global implications of the waves, extending beyond Melremark. She emphasizes her solitary endeavors to protect other nations, driven by the memory of the hero who raised her. However, her time draws to an end. Fitoria implores Naofumi to reconcile with his fellow heroes, a suggestion he vehemently rejects due to their past discord. Distressed by the lack of unity among the heroes, Fitoria hints at a grim alternative, the need to eliminate them so that new heroes can be summoned. Simultaneously, Ren and Itsuki, the sword and bow heroes, respectively, embark on an investigative journey guided by Naofumi's lead. Unbeknownst to them, Malty, the antagonist, monitors their actions with keen interest. The following morning dawned, revealing the shield hero lost in contemplation over his recent conversation with Fitoria. Engrossed in cooking, his reverie was abruptly interrupted by Fitoria's sudden appearance, accompanied by her holding Melty hostage. Naofumi implored Fitoria to release Melty, asserting their friendship. In response, Fitoria expressed remorse for her actions but explained the necessity arising from her commitment. She detailed her quandary, either replace the existing heroes or urge them towards unity. Frustration marked Naofumi's voice as he recounted his futile attempts to establish camaraderie among the heroes. Driven by his resolve, Naofumi activated his formidable rage shield, prepared to fight for his life. Yet, Fitoria exercised her influence, nullifying his shield and proposing an alternative challenge. She declared that if Philo could successfully rescue Melty from her clutches, Fitoria would spare all heroes. A tense agreement was reached, and the duel commenced within a protective barrier. The contest pitted Philo against Fitoria in her human form. Despite an enthusiastic start, Philo found herself consistently outmatched by Fitoria's prowess. Naofumi's strategic insight guided Philo, directing her to employ a hand-to-hand approach and utilize mana for defense. Although Philo managed a formidable tornado attack, it proved inadequate against Fitoria's defense, resulting in severe injury for Philo. Amidst the skirmish, Naofumi seized the opportunity to rescue Melty but was swiftly foiled by Fitoria's intervention. Sustaining an injury himself while attempting to shield Melty, Naofumi's valiant efforts were met with a powerful counterattack from Fitoria. Observing these events, Philo redoubled her determination, instilled by Naofumi's faith in her abilities. Recollections of her master's similar encouragement resurfaced, motivating Philo to rise again and assail Fitoria with a renewed sense of purpose. Fueled by her newfound determination, Philo channeled her mana to break through Fitoria's magical defense, striking her and leaving a mark. Acknowledging Philo's mettle, Fitoria acknowledged her victory, thereby freeing Melty from captivity. As a token of acknowledgement, Fitoria crowned Philo, designating her as her successor. This bestowed Philo with enhanced base stats, signifying her transition to a more formidable form. Fitoria's intervention didn't conclude there. She unlocked a slew of philolial shields for Naofumi, augmenting his capabilities. Following a night's rest, Fitoria reappeared, prompting Naofumi into a private exchange. She advised him to consider collaboration with the other heroes, cautioning that safeguarding a world involves distinct challenges from safeguarding its people. Recognizing the heroes' current limitations, Fitoria warned that their unity was imperative to confront the waves effectively. Furthermore, Fitoria fortified Naofumi's armor to better withstand the detrimental effects of the Rage Shield. As their discussion unfolded, Naofumi ventured to uncover more about the past Shield hero's connection with Fitoria, although her memory of him had faded over the years. Amidst this, Ren and Itsuki's parties embarked on a discovery, locating a concealed cave, only to be ambushed from above, causing the cave's collapse and their perilous predicament. The scene transitioned from the enigmatic smile of the Pope of the Church to Fitoria, who teleported Naofumi and his companions to a location close to one of the other heroes, initiating the process of reuniting them. Fitoria's demeanor was laden with concern as she implored Naofumi to uphold his promise and safeguard Philo. As they parted ways, Naofumi's party arrived at an outpost, encircled by vigilant guards. Recognizing their limited options, Naofumi decided to advance directly. In this location, they unexpectedly encountered Madoyasu, known as the Spear Hero. Striving to convey his perspective, Naofumi endeavored to engage in a rational discussion with Madoyasu. However, his overtures were met with an adamant refusal to listen, as Madoyasu relentlessly launched an attack on Naofumi. Swiftly and expertly, Naofumi employed his defenses to shield against the aggression, prompting him to question the basis of Moroyasu's hostility. Moroyasu vehemently accused Naofumi of perpetrating the demise of Ren and Itsuki, a charge that left Naofumi utterly taken aback. Amidst Naofumi's efforts to clarify the situation and Melty's alignment with his account, Moroyasu's suspicion persisted, attributing his distrust to Naofumi's purported manipulation via the Devil Shield. As Naofumi sought to explore the matter further, Mine interjected, affirming the church's endorsement of evidence implicating Naofumi. A conflict of words swiftly evolved into a full-fledged confrontation between the two factions, with Naofumi confronting Moroyasu. Employing the shield prison technique, Naofumi ensnared Moroyasu, although the latter promptly shattered the restraint, revealing the extent of his might and leaving Naofumi with a profound realization of Moroyasu's power. Naofumi, entrusting Philo with the role of an assailant, found himself facing off against Mine, who wielded destructive fire magic. Melty responded with a counter, employing water magic to counteract Mine's flames. Moroyasu, momentarily addressing Philo's reluctance to engage in combat, launched an attack against her, compelling Naofumi to intervene defensively. The clash escalated as Moroyasu's party executed a coordinated maneuver, only to be thwarted by Naofumi's solitary resistance. An epiphany struck Naofumi as he recognized the potential for a combined assault in tandem with Raphtalia. Their synchronicity was showcased as they executed a joint attack that left Moroyasu astonished. Further amplifying the prowess of their united front, Melty and Philo united their magic, incapacitating Moroyasu and Mine. Astonishment gripped Moroyasu, confounded by the inexplicable augmentation of their Strength Sans class upgrades. Naofumi elucidated the disparity, revealing that his diligence and training during their heroics set him apart. Yet, Moroyasu's lingering skepticism persisted, anchored in the belief that Naofumi's proficiency stemmed from his Devil Shield. As tensions escalated, Moroyasu's imminent assault was rudely interrupted by a looming danger perceived by Philo. At Philo's urgent behest, Naofumi summoned multiple shields, fortifying their defenses just in time to repel an impending ray of blinding light that emanated from above. The congregation remained unscathed, the protective network of Naofumi's shields acting as a safeguard against the destructive burst. The origin of the attack was none other than Pope Bamas and his cohorts from the church, unveiling a sinister plan to eliminate the perceived false heroes, princesses, and overthrow the monarchy. Pope Bamas, brandishing a formidable magical sword, assumed a menacing stance, intent on unleashing chaos. A foreboding atmosphere enveloped the scene as Melty issued a cautionary warning to Naofumi regarding the ominous and potent capabilities of the sword he held. The Pope's assault was met with Naofumi's adept defense, leaving him visibly shaken by the sheer force of the attack. Aware of Naofumi's capability to shield against his strikes, the Pope astounded everyone by transforming his sword into a spear. This unexpected change in weaponry elicited shock and surprise from the onlookers. Amidst this unfolding spectacle, Melty swiftly identified the Pope's weapon as the replica, a legendary artifact thought to be lost in antiquity, capable of replicating the powers of the four cardinal weapons. Her insightful revelation was met with the Pope's acknowledgement and a demeaning remark directed towards Mine's perceived incompetence. Seizing the moment, the Pope rallied his followers to contribute their powers in a collective effort to overwhelm the Devil Shield hero. However, both Naofumi and Moroyasu found themselves thwarted by the impenetrable defense of the replica, bolstered by the combined strength of the Pope's loyal adherents. As the Pope prepared to unleash a formidable attack, a sudden interruption shattered the tense atmosphere. His shield was shattered by an unexpected assailant. Into this fray emerged Ren and Itsuki, extending their aid to the beleaguered Naofumi and Moroyasu. Their deliverance was attributed to Myrlia's specialized forces, known as the Shadows. Acknowledging their earlier fallacy, Ren and Moroyasu offered apologies and support to Naofumi, symbolizing a long overdue reconciliation. The united heroes, under Myrlia's imminent army, confronted the Pope's minions, asserting their authority and the impending consequences if they continued to support his tyranny. Despite their collective front, a division emerged as Naofumi vehemently refused to overlook the harm inflicted by the other heroes, delineating the ramifications of their missteps and the subsequent church conspiracy. He asserted their ignorant recklessness and inability to embody true heroism, which had fueled the church's perception of them as imposters, fostering a revolutionary uprising. In the midst of their discourse, the Pope exploited the distraction to launch another attack, which Naofumi skillfully blocked. Naofumi drew a parallel between the Pope's manipulative tendencies and the actions of the other heroes, likening them to exploiters who use individuals for personal gain. This profound observation resonated with his conviction that the other heroes and the Pope were not so dissimilar in their self-serving motivations. Elsewhere, Futoria's thoughts dwelled on Naofumi's promise, leading her to establish a telepathic connection with him. Urging him to work alongside the other heroes, Futoria's appeal hinged on his promise to her. While Naofumi agreed to cooperate with the others, his commitment stemmed from his fidelity to his word to Futoria rather than a genuine shift in sentiment. With their resolve solidified, the four cardinal heroes collectively stood against the Pope. In a bid to counter their unity, the Pope responded by ensnaring the battlefield within an encompassing magical cathedral, setting the stage for an imminent confrontation within its confines. As the Queen prepared for war, donning her armor and marshalling her forces against the three heroes' church and the Pope, Ren and Itsuki launched an attack on the Pope. Their combined efforts managed to inflict some damage on him, yet the relentless infusion of mana from his followers consistently healed his wounds. Similarly, Naofumi and Madoyasu executed a coordinated assault, but their impact remained limited. Despite their collective endeavors, the barrier cast by Bamis proved impervious, thwarting their attempts to breach its defenses. Within the confines of the cathedral, the situation grew increasingly dire as Pope Bamis drained mana from his devoted followers, channeling it to conjure a devastating attack. In a daring move, Naofumi gambled on the perilous release of the dragon's soul within his rage shield, a decision that led to his transformation into an armored form, fueled by a vengeful rage that ignited his body in flames. His mind clouded by memories and anger, Naofumi's advance was abruptly halted by the intervention of Raphtalia, Philo, and Melty. Their collective efforts snapped him out of his trance, although they bore the brunt of the cursed flames that surrounded him. Filled with remorse, Naofumi expressed his apologies and extended a plea for help to the other heroes, an unexpected turn of events that caught them off guard. A determined Naofumi emerged from his introspection to stand as a barrier against Bamis' impending attack, exploiting the weakness created by the loss of many of his followers. Employing his newfound ability, Naofumi focused the other heroes, Philo, Raphtalia, Melty, and their allies, in a simultaneous assault on the Pope. Coordinated and strategic, their combined forces struck a decisive blow against Bamis, breaking through his defenses and wounding him severely. In response, the Pope altered his weapon from a spear to a bow, utilizing an advanced counter technique that momentarily turned the tide in his favor. However, the battlefield's dynamics shifted as Queen Myrlia's formidable army arrived on the scene. Responding to their urgent need, the Queen employed her spellcasting prowess, immobilizing Bamis in a frozen state and urging Naofumi to seize the opportunity. Capitalizing on this opening, Naofumi summoned the full power of his Rage Shield, unleashing a high-risk attack named Blood Sacrifice. This formidable technique required him to expend a significant portion of his own blood, culminating in a monumental strike that incapacitated Bamis and obliterated his replica weapon. As the Queen's forces apprehended the Pope's devoted followers, the battle's intense aftermath left Naofumi lying prone on the ground, surrounded by Philo, Raphtalia, and Melty, who anxiously monitored his condition. The Queen approached them, extending her introduction and extending her apologies for not having been present during the confrontation. She vowed to do whatever it takes to salvage Naofumi's fading strength, pledging to rescue him from the brink of demise. Following 3 days of rest and recuperation, Naofumi's strength gradually returns. During this time, Queen Myrlia takes the initiative to offer her apologies to him, expressing remorse for the myriad troubles that had been instigated by the Church of the Three Heroes, Mind's Deceit, and King Altcray's actions. She reveals that the initial intention had been to summon a hero from a different realm to confront the waves that threaten the entirety of the world. As the sun rises on a new day, Queen Myrlia proceeds to take decisive actions against those who have caused harm. Altcray is stripped of his position of power and a slave crest is affixed to Mine, compelling her to reveal her transgressions. In a swift and calculated move, both Altcray and Mine lose their royal privileges and are condemned to death for their crimes. However, an unexpected twist emerges when, on the brink of their execution, Naofumi witnesses a genuine plea from Mine, beseeching for clemency. Stirred by this appeal, he intervenes in the proceedings, advocating for their lives to be spared. He proposes that they be stripped of their titles and instead referred to as a bee in trash, their names forever linked with their deceitful actions. The Queen accepts this unconventional proposition, effectively reshaping their identities and meting out a distinct form of justice. With the dissolution of the Church of the Three Heroes, the Queen reinstates the original faith that revered all four heroes, a significant step towards rectifying the twisted narrative that had manipulated perceptions. As the time arrives for Naofumi's party to bid farewell to Melty, she elects to remain within the castle, castle, assuming her role as a princess while they continue their battle against the encroaching waves. As they embark on their journey beyond the city's confines, a moment of revelation occurs between the queen and Melty. The queen divulges that, had Naofumi not intervened, she had been prepared to offer her own life as a sacrifice to quell public unrest and halt the impending executions. In the backdrop of these events, the Shield party finds themselves amid a sea of farewells from the people of Melremark, who bid them a fond adieu. This emotional parting serves as a turning point for Naofumi as he finally embraces his role as the Shield hero, marking the culmination of his personal and collective growth. Naofumi's party embarks on a journey to a location known as the Dragon Hourglass in search of potential upgrades. However, upon arrival, it becomes apparent that only Naofumi is bestowed with these enhancements, leaving Raphtalia and Philo untouched by the improvements. Queen Myrlia contemplates the possibility that this asymmetry may be attributed to a blessing bestowed upon Naofumi by Victoria, the enigmatic entity they had encountered earlier. Subsequently, a grand banquet is held, providing an opportunity for the four heroes to convene privately. In the midst of this gathering, an altercation ensues between Raphtalia and a member of another party, spurred by derogatory remarks aimed at Naofumi. The altercation swiftly escalates into a brawl, with Raphtalia standing her ground against the intoxicated aggressor. Amid the chaos, Melty intervenes to prevent Mine from tampering with Raphtalia and Philo's sustenance. Within the confines of the private meeting, Queen Myrlia unveils a revelation of an upcoming event on the Calmira archipelago. This event promises to bestow bonus experience points upon the participants, effectively facilitating their advancement in levels prior to the impending wave. As the heroes exchange insights into their respective weapons' latent functionalities, including a unique weapon copy mechanism, tensions flare as divergent opinions clash regarding the optimal approach to power leveling. Frustrated by the discord, Naofumi departs from the gathering. Subsequently, Naofumi embarks on a venture to replicate all of Erhard's shields, an endeavor that leads him to visit Raphtalia's former village, a place rife with memories and sentiments. During this poignant visit, he briefly encounters a pair of fellow travelers, sharing a fleeting connection. Dawn ushers in a new day, and with it, Naofumi's departure for the Calmira archipelago. Yet, the situation aboard the ship is far from ideal, as the cabins have been largely claimed by the other heroes. Consequently, Naofumi's party finds themselves compelled to share lodgings with two unexpected companions, Elark Berg and Therese Alexandrite, enigmatic figures whose presence holds the promise of intrigue and adventure. Upon their encounter, Elark and Therese cross paths with Naofumi and his entourage. However, the initial interaction takes a curious turn as the pair misconstrues Naofumi's identity, erroneously associating him with the negative narratives surrounding the Shield hero. Their preconceived notions hinder a smoother exchange. The heroes, guided by Governor Habenberg's assistance, arrive at the alluring destination of Calmira. While their compatriots elect to rest, Naofumi's group seeks lodging at the resort inn. In this tranquil respite, Naofumi seizes the opportunity to delve into his arcane repertoire, mastering a potent new spell. Eager to capitalize on their surroundings, he orchestrates a mission to enhance their experience and proficiency by confronting the island's indigenous monsters. Additionally, Naofumi harnesses his craftsmanship to forge novel weapons for Raphtalia and Philo, employing the materials sourced from the defeated beasts. As the sun sets, the unexpected duo of Elark and Therese re-enters the narrative, inviting Naofumi's party to partake in an evening gathering at a local eatery. In the midst of camaraderie, Therese makes a unique request of Naofumi to craft an accessory for her. He artfully assembles an exquisite piece utilizing a rare gem, thereby eliciting elation from Therese. With the dawn of a new day, Naofumi embarks on a joint venture with Elark and Therese, collaborating to amass experience and prowess. This endeavor yields a surprising revelation. Therese's mastery of magical flames extends to restorative capabilities, presenting Naofumi with a newfound means of replenishment. As twilight envelops the horizon, Elark and Therese depart, their gratitude resonating as they express a hope for a future rendezvous. Later, amidst serene coastal surroundings, an unexpected discovery unfurls. Philo stumbles upon an undersea temple. Intrigued, Naofumi and his companions embark on a voyage of exploration within the temple's depths. Their quest is rewarded with the unearthing of a dragon hourglass, a mystical artifact that unveils an ominous revelation. The hourglass speaks of an imminent cataclysmic event, as the encroaching wave is poised to engulf Calmira in a mere 48 hours, casting a shadow of impending turmoil over their paradisiacal haven. Following the alarming revelation of the impending wave, Naofumi takes swift action by alerting Queen Myrlia to the imminent threat. In response, the Queen musters a formidable naval fleet, poised to confront the encroaching peril head-on. Embarking on a perilous journey, the heroes of Melremark, along with the enigmatic duo Elark and Therese, set sail with the fleet to confront the impending cataclysm. Amidst the tumultuous battle that ensues, the naval forces engage in skirmishes against swarms of smaller monsters, a mere prelude to the true challenge that lies ahead, an imposing boss monster that tests the mettle of the four heroes. However, the tide of the encounter takes an unexpected turn as Elark and Therese manage to vanquish the formidable boss, revealing a sinister ulterior motive that shatters the Alliance's unity. The shocking revelation comes to light as Elark and Therese reveal their origins from an alternate world plagued by similar waves. Driven by the dire need to save their own world, they harbor a chilling agenda to eliminate the four heroes and sever the link between the waves. Their attack leaves the other three heroes incapacitated, and only Naofumi's party remains to confront this menacing duo. In the ensuing battle, Elark's prowess proves overwhelming, bypassing some of Naofumi's formidable defenses and placing Raphtalia and Philo in a perilous position. Just as the odds seem insurmountable, an unexpected ally emerges, Princess Melty, wielding her magical prowess to aid Naofumi's beleaguered party. With her strategic support, Naofumi and his companions devise clever tactics, gradually gaining an upper hand and managing to inflict wounds upon Elark. However, the situation escalates further as Glass, an enigmatic figure with her own enmity towards Naofumi, makes her grand entrance. Aligned with Elark and Therese, Glass reveals her allegiance and appreciation for Naofumi's growth since their previous confrontation. As the impending clash looms on the horizon, the battle takes an ominous turn, leaving Naofumi and his party to face an alliance of formidable foes, their fate hanging in the balance once more. Engulfed in a fierce and solitary combat with Glass, Naofumi confronts the revelation of her true identity as a hero hailing from Elark's world. Earned the moniker Fan Hero. An unexpected revelation surfaces. His Soul Eater shield proves a potent adversary against her. Yet, a moral conundrum emerges as Naofumi grapples with the dilemma of terminating Glass's life. Despite her adversarial stance, he recognizes her commitment to safeguarding her own world, prompting a moment of hesitation in the throes of battle. Raphtalia's unwavering devotion helps Naofumi to realize the significance of their own world and the cherished individuals they hold dear within it.
私もそれを望んでいました。ですが。
She emphasizes the importance of nurturing hope and perseverance, imploring Naofumi not to relinquish their bond to those they hold close. In tandem with the pivotal clash, Queen Myrlia devises a cunning strategy, enlisting a novice archer named Rishia Ivard. Deploying liquor barrels as a cunning ploy, they manage to incapacitate Glass during the confrontation, and as the wave's time limit expires, Elark and Therese are forced to retreat. Following this tumultuous encounter, Naofumi returns to Kalmyra, ruminating on the revelation of alternate worlds ensnared in their own struggles against the waves. The wisdom of Fitoria resonates within him, inspiring a renewed determination. Recognizing the injustice faced by Rishia, Naofumi embraces her into his fold, extending an offer to join his party. Back on the mainland, the fabric of fate unravels further, as Myrlia presents Naofumi with an esteemed reward. Bestowing upon him the title of Lord of isekai'd, he envisions a fresh commencement. Determined to breathe life anew into the ravaged village, he strives to nurture it with the camaraderie of those he holds trust in. Amidst the currents of change, the other heroes harbor a fervent desire to surpass Naofumi's strength, kindling their own journeys of growth. Simultaneously, Belaukas, cloaked in enigma, forges an alliance with an enigmatic benefactor. Collectively, Naofumi embarks on a perpetual voyage of growth, buoyed by the unyielding support of his companions. As they navigate the undulating tides of adversity and triumph, their bonds serve as a beacon of resilience, guiding them toward an uncertain yet promising horizon. That concludes some of the anime for now. If you'd like me to continue with this series, let me know down below and I'm out.